The Bible. Is it hard? The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that He used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding Him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory, forever. Amen. Abba Noah, Shabbat Shemaya, Kodash Haya Shemka Ahaya, Malakwavka Taba'an, Ratazawanka Haya Aisha, Ba'arataza Kawa, Haya Bashemaya, Nathanda Nawa, Lakham Kau Yawam, Wasalak Nawa, Kawawaf Nawa, Hasalak Nawa, Kawawaf Yanawa Wala'a, Abayak Nawa, Anasaya one above, Our Shai Nawa, Manrai Kayalaka, Hamalakwa Waha Allah, Ahathapa Arak, La Iwalamyam, Aman.
Shalom, brothers and sisters. I'm Elder Ricard along with Elder Lawyer with our weekly Sabbath broadcast. I hope you all are fine. Please do us a favor. Hit the like button so that now, yes, we can drive more people into the Sabbath service. Now, we're behind the time, so I'm jumping right in, okay? Make sure you hit the like button. This way it'll drive the traffic here and let others know the Gathering of Christ Church Sabbath service has begun. All right. Thank you very much for that. And yes, like I've mentioned in the commercial there, the Hebrew and Bible Academy breaking down mysteries, Bible prophecy, and news, as well as Hebrew. The second week of this academy starts Sunday. Okay, tomorrow 9 a.m. So you're only in the second week. There's 3 full months. So if you haven't enrolled, get in. Go to historytimes.org. You don't want to miss what's in store in this academy with week 2, tracing the serpent seed. All right. Now, in tracing the serpent seed, which is tomorrow, I thought that I would go into a lesson which really, to a degree, spearheaded this ministry of the Gathering of Christ Church. The mark of the beast is coming. The majority of people who've been following our teaching since around 2008, 2009, began to link into what we were teaching, which was kind of different than what you would actually run into as far as doctrine when it comes to one who know they're Hebrew or Israelite. What really attracted a lot of people to what we were teaching on the streets at this time in 2008 and 2009 was the prophecies real time concerning the earth leading to the mark of the beast. Okay? Prophetic scenarios, understanding what's going on real time so that we could get under the Most High's protection. So I went from state to state breaking down the path to the mark. The technology that at that time was being introduced into society and how that in of itself was prophetic. And that technology was being set up as a convenience, but also there would be a trade-off. In tracking all people, the Roman Empire would begin to search out our people throughout the earth to finish what they couldn't finish in 70 AD. That's getting rid of the children of Israel. When we started looking into that, more so prophetically, we understood, according to Christ, that there's more to understand in this book outside of just who we are as a people. The Bible is everything. See? It can give us our history. It can give us our doctrine and true doctrine that we should understand to be civil one amongst another. It even gives us the knowledge of the nations who have always battled secretly or right frontal against us throughout all of history. Right? So, of course, it will show our present time and how to navigate through it. Right? So, getting back on that path, the path to the mark, I thought we would soon now start really diving into some of that information that I was breaking down in 2005 before there was YouTube. One day I was on the street and we was on the street and some other people started filming. And next thing you know, we were up before you and it became slowly from 2 people just teaching on the street initially the gathering of Christ Church. And I'm speaking of predominantly with the doctrine that you're hearing today. The path to the mark. Eventually, I'm going to do one more path to the mark, the final chapter, but not yet. So let's go over a few things that I was talking about initially in 2000 that you all knew about in 2009, 2000 for those who've been following us that long. I had a big poster on the street. And on that poster, we were breaking down what? The current technology, Big Brother. Digital angel to watch over patients was on that post. What was Digital Angel? Digital Angel was a company at that time that I was breaking down, Big Brother, in which they would use big tech, satellites, you name it, to track the earth. But the way in which they would actually have society accept this technology would be through the need to help sick people. People with Alzheimer's or sicknesses or a family member that might wander off, and now we can conveniently chip that person with technology to find them in case they get lost. Guardian angels have gone digital. So this is technology to replace the guardian angels that the Most High has assigned every individual on earth. I will be like God, right? Now, this company have changed their names many times, and they also work through global governments, bank systems, and overall, brothers and sisters, I'm going to tell you this. Well, I'm going to keep it on a level that we can all understand it. Replacing or having more time with you than your actual guardian angel. Putting satellites in the earth to track you, to receive data from you, to understand your psychological profile, and to eventually initiate you into helping with their plan or deeming you an enemy of their plan. Guardian angels. See? Guardian angels have gone digital. This is what I was breaking down. And they have to worry about privacy. On and on and on. It was talking what? What was it talking? According to Palm Beach, Florida, in this story, this article was 2001, over 20 years ago. A Florida-based company, Digital Angel, will also help adult-assisted care facilities locate Alzheimer's disease patients who tend to wander, in addition to helping parents monitor the location of their autistic children. Now, let's not get into the reason why children have become autistic. Okay, let's not go there, because if I was to talk about that, you can't speak about those things freely here, but I digress. But you think this was just about tracking old people, sick people, autistic children, children with mental issues? No. This is how they were going to introduce this technology that will one day be law for all the population, on the population, without those who are looking prophetically pushing back. See, we were looking for this. And it doesn't matter, folks. Let me tell you, it doesn't matter what you believe, what doctrine you believe, what church you belong to. It doesn't matter if you are an atheist. according to prophecies in this Bible, all will experience what I'm about to break down today. Now, speaking of this, because we all know that they're usually, brothers and sisters, their back door is to use the healthcare system. Because the healthcare system comes under the guise of philanthropy, help. The last place you think you'll see the enemy with a back door to actually destroy everyone else. Right? So I started doing some research around 2002, 2003 on Digital Angel, right? I started to do some research on them. And this story came out around 2004. I also used this on one of the teaching boards, right there on the streets at the corner of 9th and Market Streets, in front of the old gallery. Digital Angel now FDA approved for medical use, 2004. The path to the mark. See, they incrementally adjust us into receiving or accepting technology that's really against us. See, the one who's behind this, the true beast, is patient. Why? He has been here since the earth was created. He's wiser than Daniel, the real beast. Satan. He's very patient, but time is running out. So all of these systems must get fast tracked. But I was up on this in 2001, 2002, 2004. And eventually when I started looking at this and I started realizing this is Bible prophecy. What does Christ have to say about this? How do I resolve the doctrine I learned under? Who never delved into the technology and what that is according to the Bible. But it wasn't upon them to deliver this. Why? Because it was in the spirit of the Most High for them to deliver what they were delivering. And through each time, seals are broken. And information comes if we're open to receive it according to the word. So it's not blaming my former teachers for anything. They taught me what they knew. Okay? And in respect of that, the teachers that have always taught me, who've instilled something in me, I'll always have honor and reverence for the Most High sending them. This is why you'll never hear me on YouTube or anywhere, or even privately, ever coming against, bashing, or speaking publicly negative about any individual who personally sold something in me that led me to the point where I can understand what I'm seeing today. That's reverence, respect, and honor for those men. Okay? Digital Angel chip now FDA approved for medical use. Notice the healthcare system would become their backdoor. VeriChip is what it was called back then. As reported way back in the first issue of Gizmo, U.S. Digital Angel has produced the VeriChip, an implantable computer chip which monitors human biometric functions and transmit the data with CPS technology. The VeriChip has now been approved for human medical use by the Food and Drug Administration of America, opening up the age of implantable technology. See? They use the medical system as a backdoor claiming help or philanthropy, only to do what? Have the FDA approve it now for everyone. See? And I was looking at this stuff back then, brothers and sisters. And I also was checking out other things. I was looking into eugenics at one point. Eugenics. Planned Parenthood. The Bill and Belinda Gates Foundation. I was looking into all that, folks, and I see how it intertwined with the technology to come, and I'm going to talk about that today. Also on the poster that I did, what I did was I took pictures from the computer, printed it out, pasted it to whiteboards, and told everyone we're living in the mark of the beast systems that are being placed right up under our noses. I was on a corner 2008, 2009 telling people that were working in the stores, the supermarkets. You see all these aisles? Eventually, there will be no people ringing products up. You'll have one person overseeing it all, and everyone will eventually be ringing up their own foods. It's going to be cost effective for the companies, and now they don't have to pay retirements and all this, and the machines will become the new, that's right, tellers. Right? Because I was reading the plans that was rolled out through a lot of these papers I was checking out, with them transitioning into a mark of the beast system. Now, also on the whiteboard, I had this. The true reason, brothers and sisters, why they have satellites around the earth is to link everyone into one global system, to be identified from the outside of earth like God views the earth, but on a simpler, lower digital level. Right? I show all this. Like, listen, folks, I knew where this was going. And I showed the satellites around the earth like an atom. When you see those things going around the earth, they're really what? Yeah, that's subliminal programming to get you adjusted to what they're doing. The atom with all those circles around it, it's digital angels watching people. Watching people. Bringing people into the Babylonian plan. The original plan from the beginning. And I'm going to go over some of that today. Global positioning. Oh, you think it's just to get on Google Map and to see certain areas of a house or this, that, and the other? It's way more sinister than that. See, they put it out there so that we can accept no privacy. Digital angels around the earth watching everyone. Watching everyone. Here was the plan. Now, what's the need to be able to track everyone everywhere? Right? Well, we're going to talk about that today in our what? Our lesson, the mark of the beast is coming. The mark of the beast, folks, is coming. First and foremost, we have to destroy the lie that was put out there by the enemy. The beast comes in two forms. The beast comes in as spiritual, and it can also, in scriptures, be identified as what? An empire. Like Daniel had 4 beasts. And which were empires that ruled our people for disobedience. Through disobedience until the time of salvation. Until the time we as a people would get delivered from what? From the trap set by the beast. So first and foremost, we must tear down the ideology and the doctrine concerning the beast, which is taught by the Roman Catholic Church. It's a lie from hell. The beast in the book of Revelation that speaks of bringing forth the mark of the beast is, in fact, the Roman Empire bringing forth a mark from a beast or a spirit, Satan. Okay? And I'm going to break this down, folks. There will be no identifying or trying to figure out an antichrist. That's a lie from the pits of hell. A total misdirection, folks. A total deflection from the true understanding of the Bible. And while you're looking for one man to set all this up, everything that I've been talking about and what the most I've shown since the early 2000s is being placed right here in law without one man being identified as the Antichrist. So we're going to put that to bed first. Okay. Elder Lawyer, let's go into 1 John where it talks about there's many antichrists. How does one identify an antichrist according to the Bible? Stop listening to Catholic ideology, folks. They set up theologian schools to deflect, to misdirect. And they have our people, highly educated, intelligent people, going into these universities to be indoctrinated with a destruction ideology. And now these people have what? They have the education and the intellect to be able to convey eloquently the evil lies that are taught by them, taught to them in the theologian schools. Let's read it real quick, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. The book of 1 John, chapter 2, verse number 18. Little children, it is the last time, and as you have heard, that Antichrist shall come.
You heard that the Antichrist shall come. Now, didn't we hear that coming up in church? That the Antichrist would come? So now, in the book of 1 John, it's going to actually highlight how to view the Antichrist. Is it one man? Is it one person we should be looking for? Read.
Even now, are there many Antichrists?
Even now, there are what?
Many Antichrists.
There are many Antichrists. Read.
Whereby we know that it is the last time.
Whereby we know that it is the last time. Come on, Elder Lawyer.
Jumping down to verse 22. Who is a liar? But he that denieth that Yeshua is the Christ. He is Antichrist, that denieth the Father and the Son.
So that's what an Antichrist is. One who denies the Father and the Son. Starting with the Roman Empire and the Roman government, who would eventually hijack the story of Christ and Mary and Joseph and the people in the Bible, only to replace it with the doctrine of Mithraism, ancient Babylonian teachings from Babylon that was Mithraism during the time of Rome. So the whole empire and the ideology of the religion they teach today under the guise of Christianity is Antichrist. Because they deny the truth of Christ, Mary, Joseph, Israelites, Christ himself. And that's one example. Another example is people outright who deny Christ. You have people now questioning whether or not Christ ever existed, whether or not the Israelites ever existed. That's Antichrist doctrine. That's Antichrist ideology, right? Now, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Romans where it talks about the mystery of iniquity. Yeah, 2 Thessalonians. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7. 2 Thessalonians 2 and 7, because Paul even said it. Stop listening to these Christian doctrines that's talking about an Antichrist. It's just some guy somewhere, probably a Jesuit or an apologetic or something, that's trying to sell a personal book, bringing their own philosophy or ideology on the Bible. They're straight philosophers. Let's read it.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 7. For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work.
For the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Read.
Only he who now letteth will let, until he be taken out of the way.
Only he who let will let him do it. And who's that? The Most High. Until he take this spirit, what?
Out of the way.
Out of the way. Now, mind you, Paul said the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. So what empire were pressuring or persecuting the church and the Israelites during Paul's and Christ's time? The Roman Empire. So what we're looking for prophetically is what? A boogeyman, a ghost that they're teaching in Christianity. That they know doesn't exist the way they're teaching it. Misdirection. When Paul said, the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. King James himself called the Pope an Antichrist. See, and this is why the Roman Empire or the Christians and all that, they allow King James' name to be smeared. They allow outright for anyone to degrade or throw shade on King James, because they know King James was from Judah. He was a black man, and I have that proof. He wasn't a homosexual. He was married. He had about 9 children. He had many children. He understood many languages. Right? So he even point out, listen, stop looking for one man. It's an empire. It's a Babylonian ideology that's pushed by Satan himself. So let's get it clear. Who's really in charge? Who's really controlling governments as well as religion? You got it. Satan himself. Satan himself. One moment here. Elder Lawyer, let's go to the Tower of Babel. I want to show something real quick. Let's go to the Tower of Babel. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. Genesis 11, verse 1.
Now, why am I going here, folks? Because in order for me to break down today, the mark of the beast is coming, we have to understand what is the mind behind the beast. I already showed you the earth, the satellites. What is the mind? What is the plan of the beast? So in order for you to understand the mark of the beast, that they will soon, because the infrastructure has been put in place during the whole COVID campaign. The infrastructure for the next phase of this. Right? So we must understand what is the initiative of the beast? What is his plan? Well, everyone must go back to the Tower of Babel in the Bible, when all of Noah's sons, the majority of Noah's sons, began to participate within an Babylonian ideology. Instead of serving the God that Noah taught his sons, slowly they were moved into a city to work for a separate initiative, a separate God under a king called Nimrod. So, of course, Satan uses people. Job 9:24 tells us the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. So because Adam sinned, all power and dominion was given to the one who deceived him for a period of time, which made Satan the prince of this world. And Satan can set up kings, see, governments, politicians, and reward them for the obedience of bringing forth the new Tower of Babel. Let's read it, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Hold up. Real quick. Y'all got to help me out here. It doesn't cost anything for y'all to hit the like button, okay? We're about 1,000 down. Just help us out here. Just hit it real quick for us, okay? Real quick, hit it for us. Right? And I want to show y'all something in a moment. Something that happened about 11 years ago. Something that happened about 11 years ago, I'm going to show you all. Right? Read it, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Genesis 11, verse 1. And the whole earth was of one language and of one speech. And it came to pass, as they journeyed from the east, that they found a plain in the land of Shinar, and they dwelt there. And they said one to another, Go to, let us make brick and burn them thoroughly. And they had brick for stone, and slime had they for mortar.
Come on.
And they said, Go to, let us build us a city and a tower whose top may reach unto heaven. And let us make us a name, lest we be scattered abroad upon the face of the whole earth. And the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do.
Come on.
Go to, let us go down and there confound their language, that they may not understand one another's speech.
So let's disrupt the communication. There's a new language program or program that can teach new languages called Babel. Coincidence? Where if you apply yourself, you can now undo the curse by being able to quickly understand someone else's language. Well, the Most High put that as a barrier between the children of Noah at the Tower of Babel. Why? Because if he didn't do it, if he didn't stop them from communicating that plan, everything they imagined, which was to go out in, I'm going to show you the plan, why they were building the Tower of Babel. Read that again, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. Verse number 6. And the Lord said, Behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do. And now nothing will be restrained from them which they have imagined to do.
Nothing will be restrained from them which they imagine to do. Folks, we're not just talking about them building a brick house, folks. CERN, which they turned on the grid of CERN around 2011. The base of CERN itself was 1/3 part of the base of the Tower of Babel. It was technology at the base of the tower. There's nothing new under the sun, folks. They had another plan. that was way greater than just some people with brick and mortar building rocks. There was building a building. This was technology that Satan put together and gave what? The understanding to man on how to actually build this technology for him with an initiative. But he needed all people to come together to understand science. Now, science is great when it doesn't oppose the science within the Bible. So he gave them technology understanding, like a lot of these universities, to work for him as the God of this earth, to promote his initiative until the Most High split the tongues. Now, why was he building this tower? Isaiah, Elder Lawyer.
Isaiah chapter 14, verse 12.
Come on.
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? Now, the reason why it calls Lucifer a morning star is because these are the angels who sang before the Almighty every morning in heaven before earth was made. And those groups of angels or sons of God are called the morning stars. Okay? Now I'm going to go into more of this tomorrow in tracing the serpent seed. But Elder Lawyer, get a precept from the book of Job real quick, which confirms what I'm saying here.
Yes, sir. The book of Job, chapter 38, verse number 4.
Job 38 and 4, yes.
Where wast thou when I laid the foundations of the earth?
Where was thou when I laid the foundations of the earth? So it's talking about the beginning. Read.
Declare if thou hast understanding.
Declareth if thou have understanding. And see, and this is what the Most High is showing in doctrine. We must understand the true purpose of creation and what happened in the beginning before earth, before man, to really know that's right, the true doctrine of Christ when it comes to his judgment and who he'll judge and why. You just can't look at your condition and what happened to you and make that a doctrine. The true doctrine began before earth was made. And that's why he said, let me know what happened here before the foundations of the earth, if you can declare it. To understand the true plan, the true war, the unseen war. Right? When what, Elder Lawyer?
Verse 7, when the morning stars sang together.
When the what?
When the morning stars sang together.
When the morning stars sang together. Now that was before earth. Read.
And all the sons of God shouted for joy.
And all the sons of God shouted for joy. So angels are also called the sons of God. So when it says, how did you fall, Lucifer, son of the morning? How did you fall? And why was he named son of the morning? Because he was one of the original angels in heaven before the fall, who sang before the Most High every morning. And earth has become his prison. And I'm going to be breaking this down tomorrow to identify the true leader of this earth. The true leader of this earth, folks. We wrestle not with flesh and blood. We wrestle not with flesh and blood.
There's a new video this morning.
Now, this story came out 11 years ago, folks, and I'm going to show you the significance of this particular news circulation or this news article. This particular news came out 11 years ago, and when it just came before you, and then it just slipped right past you. What happened in Jerusalem? What happened? the Bible. Not that, but that did happen.
There's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. There you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
Yeah, and nothing to see here. Early morning. There's nothing to see there. 11 years ago, they showed a light come down on the Dome of the Rock and shot into the sky. And all of this, folks, is near the Wailing Wall and what's going on over there. Who's communicating? Who's connecting with those that are in the land right now? Now, folks, I would have thought that when you hear and see stuff like that, that there's no other news that they can actually publish after that's more important. The place where the Jewish people got the land after the wars, right? Currently at the Wailing Wall. Currently at the Wailing Wall in the land. Something out of this world communicates with them. And it's put out there on the news and say, well, okay, it's going viral. Nothing to see here. Carol is going to be here with the next segment showing you her oatmeal cookie recipes. Nothing to see here. 11 years ago, folks. And this activity happens all the time in that area, but no one is telling you anything. The Christian church didn't tell you, the Muslim didn't tell you, and all of them worship at the Wailing Wall. Well, I can't talk about the Tower of Babel without showing you the Wailing Wall, because there's an idea behind where they're worshiping. There's a spirit in connection with all religions, like it was at the Tower of Babel, aimed towards finishing what the Most High disrupted by what? Splitting the tongues. They have used the computers to bring all nations together, like the people were, defiant against God at the Tower of Babel. You want to know about the mark of the beast that's coming? We must identify the beast and their true initiatives. The computer brings everyone together. The hive mind. We're just going to break it down for you today. Go back, Elder Lawyer.
Isaiah 14, verse 12. How art thou fallen from heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning?
Come on.
How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven.
I will ascend into heaven.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
I will exalt my throne above the thrones of God. I'm going back out into where? Read it again, Elder Lawyer.
I will exalt my throne, or I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. Read it again.
I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God.
Above the stars of God. Let me pull it up here. Above what?
Above the stars of God.
Above the stars of God. Read on.
I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north.
And I will sit upon the mount of the congregation. I will sit above the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I'm going back in to heaven. I'm going to the throne of God, and this is why the Tower of Babel. This is why the Tower of Babel was erected. It was technology but Satan couldn't do it by himself. Why? Because it was mankind who was needed to serve him on earth to accomplish on earth. Why? Because of the elements that are within the earth has a different law. And mankind would have to dig this stuff out of the earth to try to rival the technology that Satan himself, Lucifer, witnessed amongst the heavenly realm. To try to rival that, he needed earthy substance, elements. Folks, yeah, something else you probably didn't know. When we first was talking about chipping everyone, and that the GPS systems were set up to follow and to track everyone, we were called conspiracy theorists. Think about that for a moment. Does it sound like conspiracy now? Does it sound like conspiracy? Folks, they're planning to get off of Earth. That's the plan. Even if they destroy the earth. This is deeper than just mankind. If you think that was a man inside that ship that went over the Welling Wall, over the Dome of the Rock that I've just shown you, if you think that those are people, you're out of the loop. It's upon the evil spirits to have people fight against each other as a distraction, while they use a segment of our people as intellectuals under academia to assist with Satan's plan. But Christ has another plan. What did he say of the lawyer? Let's go. Now I'm going into it tomorrow, more so. I'm going to show you that NASA have found the portals in the earth and everything. Folks, it's confirmed everything that we've been teaching when it comes to time. Everything is true. There's 364 portals in the earth in which the celestial or the spirits travel out of the earth into the earth. And guess what? They know it. The scientists know it. It's confirmed. I'm going into it tomorrow, tracing the serpent seed. So they got people fighting amongst each other, not realizing there's a higher narrative. Let's read, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 14. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. What's that? Lucifer. He will become the God of this world, the all-seeing eye. And make a system to connect all people everywhere to the beast. To have the power to know exactly what's going on the earth with everyone. Like it is in heaven. And then he promised to one day get off earth and do what? Go into the heavenly stratosphere, knowing that the judgment of the north will come here according to Bible prophecy. Heaven is coming here. There will be a war in heaven, and all eyes will see this before Christ enters this atmosphere. So what are their plan? Their plan is we'll sever out a number of a number of the nations through academia and science to help us get off this planet. Get off this sphere. Or here's another plan. We must get rid of the children of Israel. If the children of Israel are gone, then there is no prophecy. There is no prophecy to return for them. if they no longer exist. Ramp up the technology. See, the devil knows the Bible. He knows the Bible. See? He also knows that the Most High God's word do not come back void. See? So, according to God's words, there's only a few points or a few scenarios that would need to happen for our God to reject us altogether as a people. And Satan knows it. He knows it. Number one, to purposely continually break his law allows them to go against us as individuals. But that's not enough for them, because through these trials of making mistakes, a lot of our people and some of our people begin to repent and become remorseful and become guilty looking back at some of the things we've done. So Satan don't like that. He don't like people with a conscience. Because even if we make mistakes, as long as there's breath in us, there's a chance the Most High will change us and will work against the Tower of Babel. So that's really not enough for him to push sin amongst us. But he know, according to God's word, that there's only a few things that the Most High will put us away altogether for, if he and those that are with him can accomplish it. You got it, Elder Lawyer? Jeremiah 31?
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Jeremiah 31, verse number 35.
Now, this is the Most High's word, brothers and sisters. You think Satan don't know this? So the Most High said, these are the only reasons I'll totally do away with my people. Read.
Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day.
What verse you at, Elder Lawyer?
35. Thus saith the Lord, which giveth the sun for a light by day, and the ordinances of the moon and of the stars for a light by night, which divideth the sea when the waves thereof roar. The Lord of hosts is his name. If those ordinances depart from before me...
Hold up. Our God says, if those ordinances depart from me. The sun, the moon, the stars. Read.
If those ordinances depart from before me, saith the Lord, then the seed of Israel shall also cease from being a nation before me forever.
Then only will the children of Israel cease to be a nation before me. As long as you see stars out there and there's a sun and a moon, the Most High's people and the oath to them, the heavenly oath to one day rule, stands according to the heavens. Prophetically, we will not be in this position on the bottom forever. And they know it. So this is why they're planning to go out and do all types of stuff on the outside of the earth. Knowing that if they can use technology to war against the celestial beings, then maybe Lucifer would have a chance. See, in these folks, this was the initiative at the Tower of Babel. Everything they told you, brothers and sisters, they told us about the outside of this earth was a lie. The earth does not revolve around the sun. The earth is stationary. Everything else moves around the earth. Science lied to you. The earth is a sphere, it's not flat, and it's stationary. It's suspended in heaven. And all of the stars and the moon, the sun, are angels that minister to mankind here on earth. So that's one scenario in which the Most High would get rid of his people, but actually that proves that the children of Israel must still exist. Read.
37. Thus saith the Lord, if heaven can be measured, and the foundation of the earth searched out beneath, I will also cast off all the seed of Israel for all that they have done, saith the Lord.
So if they can measure the heavens and the depth of the seas, then the Most High will cast us off as being his people. This is why Esau and other nations do death-defying things. To go into the depths of the sea where they can be crushed. This is why they're daredevils. They will risk their life to try to fulfill this prophecy. This is why they try to give you the distance between the earth and the sun, which is impossible because the sun go through portals. The moon go through portals. It's impossible for them, as if they had a ruler that could reach from earth to the sun. If they could measure the heavens and the depths, the Most High would put us off from being his people. This is why they're daredevils. They're going into the sea, messing around with the animals down there, doing all types of crack up in space. Let me tell you, they also had, what did they call that that navigation system they had to try to go out in space to try to measure other worlds? I forgot what they called that years ago. Okay, it'll come to mind, but they had a probe to go into space beyond our so-called space within Earth, outside of the Earth, to go into other galaxies to try to figure things out. I'm sure people who know what that is, that had mirrors and all that, so they can go out and try to find new life. They were actually trying to measure the heavens, folks. Why? Because they know the word said that if they could go out and measure heaven and the sea, that the Most High would undo his covenant with our people. And to them, it's just survival. It's just survival. Prophetically, our people are in the way of their rulership, as well as the prophecies concerning the beast who rules the nations. If we're here, eventually we'll judge all those who've done evil since the beginning. That's right, established in the word by Christ. For us going through everything we've went through, we're going to judge those and look them right in the face and let them know their time is at an end. This is, I'm going to tell you, is what Lucifer or the beast have been running from since he was hurled here. He's been trying to stave off this particular prophecy. So this is why the nations have become daredevils, all out in space where they know you can't breathe, all down in the waters where you know they have no business. Because if they can measure it and bring that before the heavenly throne, the Most High is bound by his word to get rid of us as a people and give this earth over to them. Prophetically, this is the insanity that Lucifer has taught those under his Luciferian doctrine, have taught them the mission if they are to live and to survive in power, not just beyond earth, but in the heavens. They must help him accomplish this. And folks, the Tower of Babel was everything to them. It had the technology. It had everything. And that's why the Most High said we must stop them, because anything they think will be accomplished. What were they thinking? Go back to Isaiah again, Elder Lawyer.
Isaiah 14, verse number 12.
Come on.
In fact,
Yeah. Hubble telescope. That's what it was. You know, you got the Hubble telescope, and Sputnik was one. Thank you. Why do you think they're out there? It's all in the Bible, folks. The Tower of Babel had all of this technology wrapped up into one. And the Most High had to destroy it. Read.
Isaiah 14, verse number 13. For thou hast said in thine heart, I will ascend into heaven. I will exalt my throne above the stars of God. I will sit also upon the mount of the congregation in the sides of the north. I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High.
I will be like the Most High. I will be like him. So I'm setting up the technology on earth to assume that position now. I'm setting up the technology on earth to accomplish it. I'll know every person. Eventually, I'll have every person on earth worshiping me. Worshiping me as the God of all gods. Now, I'm going to go into it in a moment why you have Muslims and others under Judaism worshiping at the Wailing Wall, near the same location where you've seen a spirit or a what? A vehicle, a heavenly vehicle ascending, descending, and ascending from the dome of the rock. Okay? And for those who missed it, I can show it again. I can show it once more. Let me show you again. For those who missed it. 11 years ago. 11 years ago here.
A new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the dome of the rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. There you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
Okay, that's all. Listen, there's nothing to see here. It went viral. Nothing to see here. But guess what? It happened not too far from where this guy is at the wall. Who are they communicating with? All UFOs, brothers and sisters, aren't from the righteous side. That's right. These orbs, a lot of these orbs were trapped in the firmament from the beginning. That's right, folks. The fallen ones also have orbs in the earth. And there's beings, you can call them what you want, aliens, but they are angels who give technology to the Gentile nations. If you don't believe me, don't worry about it. Be there tomorrow. I have the proof. And they don't hide it. Go back and I'm going to show you the judgment of them. Come on. And this is why they're trying to get rid of us.
Verse number 14.
Come on.
I will ascend above the heights of the clouds. I will be like the Most High. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit.
Now, when it says, I will be like the Most High, it's also in name. This is why the other nations and religions have put this out there to claim, well, God has many names under many religions. We just call him according to the language we understand. But really, it's one God above all. God has many names. That's a lie. Satan has many names. Not our God. Yahweh, Jovi is Zeus. Yahweh, Jovi, which is Jehovah or Yahweh, is Zeus. Before that, he was Baal. See, they have many names for their God. Allah, all of that. But the God of the Hebrews only have one name. He gave his name to Moses. He's not the only guy hanging around the wall over there in the Middle East, in our land. He ain't the only guy hanging out there. There's Arabs at the Wailing Wall too, and we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the energy, the spiritual energy they're using in tandem against us, the children of Israel, and why. Come on, other lawyer.
Verse 15. Yet thou shalt be brought down to hell, to the sides of the pit. They that see thee shall narrowly look upon thee, and consider thee, saying, Is this the man that made the earth to tremble?
Is this the man who made the earth to tremble? We're going to look upon him. Christ is going to have their God, the serpent. Some have recognized him as the cherub that falleth, or the seraph that falleth, the phoenix that fell to earth. We will look upon him. A lot of y'all don't know this, folks. When you look at the word serpent, it comes from an angelic and an angelic group in the heavens called the seraph. The seraph. So when you look in the Old Testament and see, oh, well, what, he was talking to a snake? They don't understand the Hebrew. It's talking about what? Heavenly bodies, celestial bodies, communicating with man and woman on earth from the beginning. See, and this is why the Most High cursed man and woman and says, I'm gonna put what? I'm gonna put enmity between thy seed and the serpent seed. So there will be a righteous judge out of you who will fix the sin of disobedience, which started from our original mother and father and mother. But there will also be something else in the earth, the other nations, guided by the serpent, who will come against you and try to stop prophetically Adam being remade on earth as the dominant, as the leader over all the world, like it was intended from the beginning. So the serpent, or Satan, would eventually have religions that came from the Tower of Babel, that all nations would do what? Serve under that God. And these would become the seeds of the wicked. But a remnant who would follow Christ in truth would judge all of them at the very end. And Satan knows this. Finish reading. I'm going to bring Christ into it. Just stick with me. Come on.
Verse number 17. That made the world as a wilderness, and destroyed the cities thereof, that opened not the house of his prisoners. All the kings of the nations, even all of them, lie in glory, every one in his own house. But thou art cast out of thy grave like an abominable branch, and as the raiment of those that are slain, thrust through with the sword, that go down to the stones of the pit, as a carcass trodden under feet. Thou shalt not be joined with them in burial, because thou hast destroyed thy land, and slain thy people. The seed of evildoers shall never be renowned.
The seed of evildoers will never be renowned. So eventually, folks, we're going to look upon this worm that they worship, Yahweh, which is Satan. Another name for him is Allah. And eventually, that spirit will be bound and judged according to Bible prophecy. This is why they who worship at that wall, this is why they don't deal with the true doctrine as it is written out of the Bible, because they know it's prophesying their fall. Now, I have something for you here. Only if I have time, because I have to get through this, right? Elder Lawyer,
Yes, sir.
let's go into the mark of the beast is coming. So let's go to the empire who would actually destroy our people under Satan. Let's go now here to Genesis 25 and 21. And let's go to Genesis 36.
Genesis 25, verse 21. And Isaac entreated the Lord for his wife, because she was barren, and the Lord was entreated of him, and Rebekah his wife conceived.
Come on.
And the children struggled together within her, and she said, If it be so, why am I thus?
Come on.
And she went to inquire of the Lord.
Come on.
And the Lord said unto her, 2 nations are in thy womb.
2 what?
2 nations are in thy womb.
2 races of people are in the womb of this woman. Read.
And 2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels.
2 manner of people shall be separated from thy bowels. Now, of course, if 2 children come out as twins, these 2 children would have the same genetic makeup. But what this is talking about is prophetically. One of these children coming out of Rebekah will become another nation. They're the same race right now, but eventually the elder shall serve the younger. Let's read it.
It says, the elder shall serve, the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
And that's why we are genetically strong. But all of a sudden, with modern science, with them actually giving people the juice, it's putting other nations on equal footings with us. It's giving them a genetic advantage because they're harming us. But naturally, left alone, we are the stronger people on earth compared to any other race. If we don't allow their modern medicines and all that stuff to get into us at an early age. This is how they're evening the playing field genetically. Because we're naturally stronger. Read.
It says, the one people shall be stronger than the other people.
Come on.
And the elder shall serve the younger.
And it was meant for the elder child to serve the younger child. Crystal clear. Let's see the elder child.
Verse number 24.
Come on.
And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb.
There were twins in her womb. Read.
And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment.
Come on.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. He came out what?
And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment.
Now, the reason why I'm showing this particular person here is why the background the picture is laid on happens to be white. See? The first came out what?
The first came out red all over.
Red. Pink, that's right. It derives from a red color. Read.
And the first came out red all over, like an hairy garment, and they called his name Esau.
Esau, red from head to toe, clean leper, according to Scripture. It has nothing to do with degradation or speaking negative about nobody. The Most High is identifying the future race that would link in with Satan at Mount Seir and bring forth a leprous race of people to be identified on the earth with a mark like Seth and others in the before the flood was able to identify Cain, a distinction. Cain was hairy from head to toe. So then we would know not to touch this man because he was a fugitive, cursed by the Almighty, and there was a future judgment that would happen to that man. That man weren't supposed to go after that man. So the same way there was a distinction or a mark placed on Cain, well, this is how we would identify the first child in the earth according to a distinction. See? A distinction. There was a curse of leprosy in the land of Canaan. So you have to realize when Esau began to mix with the Canaanites, they would bring forth a race that could be identified. Come on. Now, of course, there's more in who's Edom, but I'm tying in together that first child and Satan's plan when it comes to the beast. Because Satan needs man to bring forth his plan to get up into heaven, to be like the Most High. A lot of you don't even know, folks, why the Western world went into Afghanistan. Y'all don't even realize. It was to bring us up to technology that was needed for what we all have in our hands right now. That's right. What's in Afghanistan? An untapped resource of lithium in their mountains. The batteries for your computers. Who gave them that mindset of the minerals and all that and the elements from the beginning to actually be able to track people and all that? These were strategic wars that would have them get the resources needed for the plan at the Tower of Babel. So he can't do it by himself because Satan would never appear before man. He uses man to do his will, religiously and otherwise. For those who believe in the religions he established at the Tower of Babel. Oh, you didn't know why under Judaism that they more so reference the Babylonian Talmud opposed over the Torah? Oh, you didn't recognize in the Judaism that all of their months are named after Babylonian names and gods? Oh, you didn't know. It's just the truth of what it is. So the Bible says the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and his name was called who? Esau. Read.
Verse number 26.
Yes.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's hill.
Now you notice that the Bible does not describe the color of his brother Jacob, the second child that was what? Prophesied to one day rule. See? The elder shall serve the younger. So the child, the second child, who was to be protected, the prophetic child, looked just like everyone else to a degree where the Bible had no need, the authors had no need to describe him because he looked like us. He's our father, Jacob. That's our father. Come on.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's hill, and his name was called Jacob.
And his name was called Jacob. And 2nd Ezra 6 and 9 tell us that what? Esau is the end of the world, but Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. Esau would be ruling the world in the last days. And he would do what? He would begin to set up the technology and build the infrastructure for Satan's plan. When you go to Genesis 36, after Esau lost not only the birthright, but the blessing, he turned against the God of Abraham. He did. And he turned to Satan. And Satan embraced Esau and gave Esau all the understanding from the beginning, but it was through his narrative. And he said, you know what? I'll give you the technology to go against your brother Jacob. I'll give you the religion that will deceive your brother Jacob. And it happened on what? That's right. It happened right there in Mount Seir. It was right in our face the whole time, where Esau would turn his back on our father and begin to worship Satan. This is where you get the Greek and Roman pantheon and all the other things they be breaking down of the gods and the titans and all of that, worshiping the fallen gods under Greek and Roman Mithraism. They want to call it myth, but it's not myth at all. It's a priesthood against the God of the Hebrews. Genesis 36, we're going to just read the first verse, the 9th and 10th verse, and go straight to Horite.
Yes, sir. The book of Genesis chapter 36, verse 1. Now these are the generations of Esau, who was Edom.
Go ahead.
Verse 8. Thus dwelt Esau in Mount Seir. Esau is Edom.
Edom, he's who?
Esau is Edom.
Esau is Edom. Read.
Verse 9. And these are the generations of Esau, the father of the Edomites.
The father of the what?
The father of the Edomites in Mount Seir.
The father of the Edomites in Mount Seir. In Mount Seir. So Esau went to Mount Seir. It's on the outside near Jordan. And this is where this used to be the capital of Lucifer. Where the sons, where the Nephilim and all that go to congregate and do what? This is where the information to control all of the Mesopotamian area would come from. The earth's first university on this side of the flood. Now, of course, I can't go into full detail because I have to break down who's Edom. You have to get in the academy, but I'm going to just gloss over this so we can get to the book of Revelation in a moment. Now, eventually, Esau would have children with Canaanites. These Canaanites had what? They had Nephilim blood. They had the blood of Nephilim. Part man, part angel. Okay? This is why when Moses, when Joshua and Caleb sent spies into the land, right? When they sent spies into the land, there were giants in the land of Canaan, and the people were like grasshoppers. So in order for Esau to create what he called today the Cro-Magnon, the Aryan race, to try to rival our natural strength, they would need to mix with a different seed to create another nation. And this is why the Most High said in Genesis 25, 2 nations are in thine womb. This is where they went to create. Esau went to create another nation, having vitriol against the God of his father, Isaac. Now let's go straight to Genesis 36, Elder Lawyer, and let's get the child Hori. Let's get that real quick. Go down to like the 19th verse here.
Verse 19. These are the sons of Esau, who was Edom, and these are their dukes.
These are their dukes, come on.
These are the sons of Seir, the Horite, who inhabited the land, Lotan and Shobal and Zibeon and
now let's stop there because I don't want to go into all the names. I'll break those down in the academy. But I just want to show something in particular in the 20th verse. Right? When you go to 19 and 20, it talks about the Horites. Read it again.
Verse 20. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite.
The Horite, the what?
The Horite.
The Horite. Now let's pull this up here. Let's pull this up here and let's get what the Horite is. Who did Esau become? Who did he become? I'll pull it up here on eSword. Here it is on eSword. The Horite in Mount Seir. It says the cave dweller. The cave dweller. That's right, Cro-Magnon man. And it says the aborigine of the Idumeans. cave dweller, He-Man, out of the caves, is where he got his power from Lucifer. From Lucifer. In the Hebrew, as you can see right here, the Horite, right here at the top. When you read right there, it tell you 19, right here. These are the sons of Esau, who is Edom, and these are their dukes. These are their dukes. These are the sons of Seir, the Horite. The Horite is the cave dweller. Now, in week 5, you're going to get all of the information that's needed to be able to tie all of Esau together. But I'm showing you what man would be used to do what? To bring forth Satan's initiative that he started with Nimrod at the Tower of Babel. It will be him at the helm. So I don't care if you see Chinese operating, East Indians operating, and other people operating. They're just the proxy. Esau is in charge. And I'm going to prove that. Speaking of cave, let's go to the book of Obadiah to show you how it was prophesied that Edom would help Lucifer accomplish his initiative to get back out into the stratosphere, the stars. Let's go.
Obadiah verse 1. The vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord God concerning Edom.
Now this vision prophetically is concerning Edom. Read.
Thus saith the Lord concerning Edom. We have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle.
Come on.
Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised.
He is small out of all nations. This is why any country or any place he established, they bring forth some level of Planned Parenthood or population control. Because out of all races, they're the smallest. They have the less number of children. And that's how they try to even the playing ground through eugenics against us. Pricing us out of being able to have children. Because you have to be able to afford them. And I'm not even going to talk about the chemicals they've been using on our children. Sterilization, all these other things that people need to look into before just trusting the science part of things when it comes to health. But it says out of all the races, Esau is the smallest. And they did this even geographically with their globes. If you look at a globe, they purposely made Europe or England in of itself look bigger than it actually is. Okay? Because they're smaller. So to fill in what they're lacking in population, they would need to use psychology. Through psychology, they would make you believe it's more of them. If they can break all people down into groups who are the same race, by default, in any society they rule, they're the majority. Now, are they the majority? No. But if they can get you divided into subgroups and you begin to own those subgroups instead of being who God called us together as a people, automatically they outnumber us. Automatically, we're outnumbered. See? Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse number 2. Behold, I've made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised.
Come on.
The pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock, whose habitation is high.
Now, who was dwelling in the cleft of the rocks? We showed you in Genesis 36 when they went there. And I know everybody on this side is saying, well, how do you know that the so-called white man is Esau, this, that, and the other? Folks, I personally researched every son of Esau. I know who they are. I even tracked the key son, Zepho, in Genesis 36, when he went into Italy and became the original Italians outside of the Asians who were there. And more. I know who Esau is. So do they. See, but me highlighting Esau, let me make it clear. I don't have a problem with Esau, personally. See, I can highlight Esau because the Bible says what? That man of sin must be revealed. Speaking of Satan and the people he's using to bring forth his initiative prophetically against our God and us. We must tell everyone who's doing what and who set up these governments to come against us. That's our position. But personally, I don't have no problem with Edomites or anyone else. See? Because through the gospel of Christ, I can look at Cornelius from the Italian band and know that all Edomites aren't trying to wipe us off the earth. That Cornelius was a devout man who served the Most High like his father Esau was supposed to, being from the same bloodline of the covenant, Abraham's bloodline. See? So Cornelius wasn't from the family that the Most High said, write this as a memorial to wipe off Amalek from the face of the earth. Because what? All of the Edomites didn't mix with the Canaanites. That's why the Bible identifies Amalek is the family that must be wiped out. The family that created what we call Judaism today. The people who deny Christ. So I don't have no problem because I know Edomites that receive Christ, there's a what? Place for them prophetically according to God's word. That the elder shall serve the younger. So there must be a remnant out of Edom the Most High must save to fulfill that prophecy, who are not Amalek. Amalek is not going to make it at all. So I can bring out these prophecies clearly without taking anything personal. See? I will view Esau, all the families and the prophecies through Christ as Christ intended through the gospel. Not just breaking down what someone did to my forefathers or what someone did to me personally. Okay? Let's finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse 3, the pride of thine heart have deceived thee, thou that dwellest in the clefts of the rock,
Read.
whose habitation is high,
Whose habitation is high.
that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Whose habitation is high, who say in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground? See? They set up skyscrapers to mimic the mountains. They was in Mount Seir. Later they were in the what? The mountains of Georgia, the Caucasus Mountains, near Georgia, Russia. Their habitation is high. Read.
Who saith, or that saith in his heart, who shall bring me down to the ground?
Read.
Verse 4, though thou exalt thyself as the eagle.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle. Every place they are established, the eagle becomes their emblem. Rome. Look at our U.S. mail. The eagle. See? So while you trying to figure out who's Edom, The Bible is pointing out who is Edom, the Roman Empire. The Roman Empire who sent 3 of the 10 horns against this country. France, Spain, Great Britain. When our people, the children of Israel, were here before they so-called discovered us. It was the eagle that came. The Roman Empire, Esau. Read.
Though thou exalt thyself as the eagle, and though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Hold up. Though thou what?
And though thou set thy nest among the stars.
Though thou set thy nest amongst the stars. I will ascend unto the heights of the cloud. Lucifer said, I will be like the Most High. These are the people Satan will use to bring forth what? His initiatives, set up his universities, his Babylonian institutions of worship to sever from amongst God's people and others a new Tower of Babel to go out into space. Now, where most are making a mistake out there that are teaching false doctrine, knowingly or unknowingly, are trying to say Edom is Lucifer. And wrong answer. Because Lucifer was a morning star before the heavenly realm, before earth was created. Right? So now the stage is set. The stage is set now for the Roman Empire, with time running out since Christ came, to establish his Tower of Babel with Lucifer, with Satan, folks, before the time given them runs out. Hold tight. We'll be right back with the second part. We're going to jump right back into Matthew and as well as Revelation and show you Christ's view on this and what this means for us today. In our lesson, you got it. Good lesson today. The mark of the beast is coming. But now we know who's the beast and what family, according to the Bible, the beast is using. Hold tight. The Bible. Is it hard to understand?
When it comes to reading the Bible, the first thing that comes to mind is the fact that this is the Word of God.
The seals have been broken, and the truth is here.
And when we go throughout the scriptures, when we go throughout extra biblical records, we find that the language that God employed, that he used to create the heavens and the earth, was the Hebrew language.
Christ said, I came for the lost sheep of the house of Israel. But yet no one, no religious leader, no religious church out there anywhere can now identify the 12 tribes of Israel. Can we? God is quite simple, but it seems as if man makes understanding him hard.
What are those mysteries?
The truth of your book and the truth will make you free. The Hebrew and Bible Academy, you're invited. Okay. As was announced, yes, week 2 of the Hebrew and Bible Academy tomorrow, tracing the serpent seed. So what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to move straight from here, from this class, go into the breakdown of what happened in the beginning, how Lucifer and a number of angels were bound here. The real leaders of this earth, okay? The real leaders of this earth, who actually converse with guys like this who are high priest for Satan on earth. This is a high priest for Satan. There's many of these guys. A high priest for Satan right here. Antichrist. Antichrist. The Dalai Lama. Antichrist. High priest for Satan. Okay? So we're going to give it one moment. Before I go there, let me just, since Elder Lawyer, waiting for Elder Lawyer here for a moment. All right. Okay, he's coming now. He is coming now. Great, great. You good? All right, great. Fantastic. Matthew 24:1, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir.
See, and this is why Christ had to come. He would give us another opportunity as the lost sheep of the house of Israel. He would give us another opportunity if we came to him under the true doctrine after repenting from sin. He would give us access to the original power and covenant that was lost as covenant people. This is what we are supposed to be telling our people in the ghettos and all these other areas, that we're not predisposed to these conditions. These conditions are curses. And because we're under these curses, the Gentile nations who have joined themselves with Satan continually exploits us. We are exploited as a people. Right? But Christ came to give us what? An opportunity to be reborn in newness of spirit, so that we don't have to live with past guilt or the past sins of our forefathers. That we can see things as it is and stop using our experiences and what we went through as a crutch, as a reason not to excel towards our covenant given to us to our fathers, through our fathers, according to prophecy. See? So Christ warned us what would happen. Let's go there real quick.
St. Matthew 24, verse 1.
Yeah.
And Yeshua went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the buildings of the temple.
Come on.
And Yeshua said unto them, See ye not all these things?
Look at all these things.
Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down.
What was he showing? He was showing the desolation of abomination spoken of in Daniel. Our homeland. He said, look at our great temple. They're coming after us. They're going to destroy our temple. And there'll be no place for us, for our people to connect religiously back to our God. So by default, the other nations would gain the higher moral ground when it comes to religion. That was our last stand, our last temple. Who was prophesied to destroy our temple? Let's go there real quick, Elder Lawyer. Matthew. Matter of fact, let's go straight to Luke.
St. Luke 21, verse 20. And when you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
When you shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies.
Then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Know that the desolation is near. What desolation? The desolation that was recorded in 70 A.D. 70 A.D. Where the Roman Empire, Vespasian and Titus, came against our people in Jerusalem. I can't stress that enough, folks. Because before we can start discussing a current modern day restoration, we must first address who were the people there historically. Now, I'm not saying that we should restore ourselves in Israel because I know what's about to happen there. I have news today that's going to tell you what's going to happen there. The high diplomats and kings are leaving Jerusalem and Israel knowing what the fallout will be in the war. And I'm going to show y'all where they going, all of that today. The Middle East is going to become a trap in that area, specifically in that area that was restored. It's going to be a trap for some people, and I'm going to talk to you about it in a moment. But let's see what Christ said. Read it again.
Verse number 20. And when ye shall see Jerusalem compassed with armies, then know that the desolation thereof is nigh.
Come on.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains.
So we fled into different parts of the earth. We went into different parts of Morocco, other areas. We also started fleeing into Africa, where the disciples had churches established. This is how we got into Africa in number. We were in Jerusalem in number at first. Those who took heed to Christ's prophecies ran into Africa. Read.
Then let them which are in Judea flee to the mountains, and let them which are in the midst of it depart out, and let not them that are in the countries enter therein too.
Now, check this out, folks. What I'm talking about, where my Josephus at, Elder Louis? I showed it to you. Did you mark the page or? Yeah, go there real quick. Wars of the Jews, 7 part 1, 7 chapter 1 part 1. Show the Josephus so you can see the title of it. The complete works of Josephus, as you can see, unabridged. Don't get the new one, get the unabridged one, where this actual history was recorded by our people during the time of the Roman Empire taking us down. So this is not no religious view here, folks. This is history I'm talking about, where we lost our temple. We lost our land in 70 AD by the hands of Esau, who's in cahoots, as their top governments are, with Satan to accomplish his initiative that started at the Tower of Babel. Right? In the war, it tells us what's really going on at the Wailing Wall. What's really going on at the Wailing Wall in Israel today? Because you might think this is just a religious wall where people go to pray and all that. But this wall in of itself, Muslims, Christians, Jewish people, all alike go to this wall to pray without understanding its history. Why do they pay reverence to this wall? Why cry at this wall? I'm going to show you why. Christ said that an army, a Roman army, would come against us and that we would be led away captive into all nations. Let's get that part, where we're led away captive into all nations. This would start what we call today. This would lead up to this prophecy. It would lead up to captivity, slavery, us longing for a homeland, us fighting for equality, us fighting to be recognized as people, not realizing we're already recognized by our God. We need to stop trying to get some type of validation amongst the nations who are destroying us. Let's read it, Elder Lawyer.
St. Luke chapter 21, verse number 24.
Come on.
And they shall fall by the edge of the sword.
They shall fall by the edge of the sword.
And shall be led away captive into all nations.
And shall be led away captive into all nations. Be all over the place. The North American Indians were here. The Reubenites in Australia. We scattered all over the place, not realizing we are one people. We're not minority. We have royal blood running through our veins. We're the children of Israel, the bloodline of Christ, the bloodline of Judah, Benjamin, Levi. So now they end up taking us down in our homeland, Israel, destroyed Masada. And now let's break down why, Elder Lawyer, they're worshiping at the Wailing Wall. The Wailing Wall here. Now, you got it? Is it there? It's okay. We can read it directly from here. Let's read it directly from here. Wars of the Jews, 7, Part 1, verse 1. Let's read it.
Yes, sir. It says here, and truly, the very view itself of the country was a melancholy thing. For those places which were before adorned with trees and pleasant gardens were now become a desolate country every way.
They made our land desolate. Read.
And its trees were all cut down, nor could any foreigner that had formerly seen Judea and the most beautiful suburbs of the city, and now saw it as a desert, but lament and mourn sadly at so great a change.
Come on.
For the war had laid all the signs of beauty quite waste. Nor if anyone that had known the place before had come on a sudden to it now, would have known it again. But though he were at the city itself, yet would he have inquired for it notwithstanding.
So it actually, Josephus is actually chronicalizing after Christ's time, exactly what's going on here. He's witnessing what Christ said would happen to Jerusalem. Now, when you go into the history, it tells us that, so where does the Wailing Wall come from that you see here? Where does it come from? Why are they at this wall crying? Well, when you look at the history, it is actually a wall that belonged to the Roman fortress Antonia, built by Herod the Great and named after Mark Antony. What the Bordeaux Pilgrim provided in his writings is a perfect description of what we all call today the Haram Sharif. It is the remains of Fort Antonia. This Herodian structure housed the 10th Legion left by Titus after the Roman-Jewish War of 66 to 73 CE. The 10th Legion continued its presence within its walls for over 200 years, until the Legion left for Elat on the Red Sea in 289 CE. The Haran Sharif, Fort Antonia, is the only remaining part of the Jerusalem that existed in that period of Herod and Jesus. And the present Jewish authorities have mistakenly accepted the Western Wall as being the wall of Herod's temple. They are wrong. It is actually the Western Wall of Antonia. Of Antonia, folks. That's what this wall is. The Wall of Antonia, where what? Where the troops was held up and were ordered to destroy our people. This is where they held troops that destroyed Jerusalem. This is the place they housed the killers and the destroyers of our people. Until this day, they give reverence to that fort because they believe this fort helped them crush our people that were in Israel before we fell as a people. Look it up, Fort Antonia. That's the ruins that now they went back to make what? To pay homage to the God who gave them power to destroy us, the beast himself, Satan. Now, y'all think this is something. It's nothing. Wait till y'all see the Academy tomorrow, folks. Now, an elder lawyer.
Yes, sir.
Revelation, the 12th chapter.
Revelation chapter 12, verse 1.
Come on. So this is why under their religion, they don't pay any respect to Christ, because they're working for the other team. They're working for the other team. And even Paul says, the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. They're working in plain sight. It's like the Wizard of Oz, folks. They're operating behind the curtain right in front of you. You don't even realize their true initiative. Because the majority of people have turned their back on the Bible, have turned their back on Christ, and have lost the true purpose when it comes to the Bibles and its prophecies concerning all people, not just us, the whole earth. So now we have to go into to prove to you that the mark of the beast, these are the people who would set up the infrastructure, the bank system, the central bank systems and all that, the technology companies. But they do it, what? Compartmentalized so that you don't know the spirit that's behind what? A perfect orchestrated plan. So it's all compartmentalized. We'll give the Chinese this. We'll give the East Indians this. We'll give them that. And they all are working in their own compartments, not even realize they're building a tower together. But Lucifer at the top and his agents, Esau at the top of the universities, they know the plan. I appreciate it. Y'all doing a great job with hitting that like button. I appreciate it. Real quick, Elder Lawyer, let's go to Revelation 12 real quick, because it was the Roman Empire who destroyed us, and now they're worshiping at the wall. And not too long ago, about 11 years ago, and they get these visits all the time, Elder. They're visited all the time, and I'm going to show you about these visitations tomorrow. I'm going to show you about them. They got a visit from their daddy.
There's a new video this morning that some say may be proof we're not alone in the universe. A UFO in the form of a bright light is seen descending over the Dome of the Rock in Jerusalem. The video is said to be taken over the weekend. Then suddenly the light shoots up into the sky. There you see it. Another video from a different angle appears to show the light doing the same thing. Those clips have gone viral now.
Yeah, nothing to see here. Wait till you see what I'm going into tomorrow, folks. Nothing to see here. Extraterrestrial activity coming down to where they are, where they're praying and all that. And guess what? It's not our God linking in with them like that. Their daddy coming down to check on them. And their daddy also gave them the information that will lead to all this technology we were talking about earlier. Their daddy gave them this information too, on how to get beyond the firmament and go into space, how to track mankind and how to control men and people, to use them as what? Servants. When the angels are supposed to minister to us, we're not supposed to be serving them, let alone their gods. They got this thing twisted. Revelations 12, Elder Lawyer.
Revelation 12, verse 1.
Let's go straight to 12.
Yes, sir, verse 12. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he have but a short time.
He came down knowing that he have great wrath, because he know he have a short time. When Christ was crucified, folks, his spirit went into the earth, and he gained full power over that realm to release souls and to judge the fallen ones who sinned against God in the beginning. And then he went to the heavenly throne and shed his blood on the heavenly tables for our sins, the sins of Israel, so that one day in captivity, that the Holy Spirit would come through this earth, through the portals of this earth, through the Holy Spirit and find her children. And would lead us back to Zion, the knowledge of Christ, our true purpose. We weren't born to serve any people. Serving became a curse. It became a curse for disobeying the God of Israel, the God who gave Moses the commandments. And it's when we're sinning that gives power over to the devil and the nations who continue to exploit us. So it's not enough to just keep on complaining about the people who's doing all these things to us when we're not looking at what gives them access to exploit our people. Sin. Right? Come on, other lawyer.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you, having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time.
Because since Christ shed his blood on the heavenly tabernacles, time began to speed up. It was like yesterday when I was teaching on the corner that the supermarkets aren't going to have tellers, that everything is going to be electronic, that we will be living under a police state. All of these things. It was like yesterday, and it's 2022 now, according to their time. The Most High has sped up time. So now they've ramped up their campaign against us. You're going to see they're going to start easing up on all of these so-called mandates in certain areas, but keep the mandates in place where they claim that the people are what? What they say? Underprivileged, or the people that are mostly affected by the code. They're going to loosen up every other place, and it's going to end up, like I said, in the areas that they wanted to attack from the beginning by claiming, well, we have to leave things where it's disproportionately affecting these people. That was the plan, folks, the whole time. Watch. Total segregation. And then the next plan comes. Right? But go on.
Verse 13. And when the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child.
And see, he persecuted the woman which brought forth the man-child, the children of Israel. Don't forget the Most High said in the beginning, Genesis 3, I will put enmity between thy seed and the woman's seed. The woman's seed would eventually become Israel. And we brought forth Christ who would give us another opportunity. See? So because he could no longer attack Christ and the gospel began to spread, and he can't stop that, you can destroy one man, but you cannot stop the Holy Spirit. So when Christ did what he did, let me tell you, a metamorphosis, an uncontrollable metamorphosis happened in the heavens and the earth, where it doesn't matter what they try to do here. We will receive the promise. And it won't be a government telling us that they're restoring us into a land like another colonization. It's not going to happen like that, folks. We're going to get everything without resistance. And that's dependent on whether or not we're willing as a people to be obedient to the path Christ laid for us. Right? Come on.
Verse number 14. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half time from the face of the serpent.
So when it says fly into the wilderness, we was running from what? The sword of the Roman Empire, the eagle. See? And we started running into other countries and all that, and settling and setting up our own societies until Esau found us. See? Until he found us. Read.
Verse number 15. And the serpent cast out of his mouth water as a flood after the woman.
Water after a flood after the woman. This is their educational systems, folks. This is their religion. They started aiming their psychological warfare against our people. They started setting up what? Hospitals and churches. See? Flood after the woman. Flooding us with lies and deception and deceptive educations. And it was really to keep us from ever understanding who they were and who we are. Floods, lies, information, all the information out there, you would think they would have told us by now that we're the children of Israel. Floods. It was aimed. Everything was set up. It's like we're the only people in the room without the inside information. Without every other nation know who we are and that the fact we're under attack. And we're just walking around, totally naive. Every other people, to some degree, understand what's going on. They're just playing the game right now, knowing that at the end of it, it's going to settle on the people it was meant for from the beginning, because it always ends that way. The same way it happened in Jerusalem. The Roman army came around Jerusalem and it was to protect everyone, getting the cats out of the trees and helping everybody. And no one foreseen those same people helping us, killing us. So at the end of the day, if you look at history and how the Roman Empire comes against us, it's usually the same playbook. See? Come on.
Verse number 16. And the earth helped the woman, and the earth opened her mouth and swallowed up the flood which the dragon cast out of his mouth.
Now, when it says the earth helped the woman, brothers and sisters, this is talking about the records that was hid in the Qumran caves by the Essenes, who are the Levites. Okay, there was no 12 books of Essenes or the disciples of Essenes. Those are all plagiarist books. I'm talking about, folks, the book of Enoch, the book of Jasher, the Dead Sea Scrolls. And I'm going to tell you how evil Esau is. How evil they are. They didn't present the Dead Sea Scrolls until about 40 years after they actually discovered it. Why? When you look at the Dead Sea Scrolls, there's only one script that look alike all through the book. All through the scroll. Yahweh or Yahweh. They sat there all those years with the scribe to erase the Most High's name and to actually put, you can see where they actually moved and put the Tetragrammaton in the Dead Sea Scrolls. And then they want to present it with their God's name. But when you do the research, you can see the Yahweh script was placed there. It's the God of Mount Seir, the God of the Shashu. Look it up. Shashu. S-H-A. Matter of fact, let me show you here. The God of the Shashu. I'll show you here. Shashu was the Egyptian name for Esau. The God of the Shashu. The God of the Shashu. The God of the Shashu. Yahweh coming forth from Mount Seir, the Shashu. Huh? Mount Seir, Esau. He's the God of Esau. Who's the God of Esau? Who's the God of Esau? Yahweh, another name. These are Edomites from the Mesopotamian area. And their God is Yahweh. The Shashu is another name for the Edomites. It's another name for the Edomites. There's Esau in Mount Seir. The God of the Shashu is Yahweh. Another name for him is Jovi or Zeus in our modern time. Finish reading, Elder Lloyd.
Verse 17, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Yeshua the Christ.
So now he's aimed towards attacking who with this flood?
It says, and the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Yeshua the Anointed.
And have the testimony of Yeshua the Anointed. So the flood is to keep people, our people, from ever understanding that we are the covenant people who are accountable to the laws of Moses and the testament of Christ. The testimony of Christ. That's what they're trying to stop us. This is what they're trying to do. Disconnect us from that. The Bible. The Bible in of itself. Now I said earlier, right? Real quick, Elder Lawyer. Hold tight. Let's get Revelation 17.
Revelation chapter 17, verse 1.
Come on.
Revelation 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither. I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
I will show you what?
The judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
I will show you the judgment of the whore that sit on many waters, who would come to different continents and all that to spread the lies, the flood, the deception aimed towards destroying God's people. Here's the judgment. Read.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication.
So that's all the nations who are in they have colluded with Esau to set up a construct against the family of God, the children of Israel, to set up a construct against us. This is why they all pray together, Arabs together, other nations at the Wailing Wall. They are spiritual accomplices, and they know it. And this is why they revel. They love when our people convert into one of their religions, and not only that, become spokespeople for their religions. When their religion has done nothing but destroyed us. This is how they initiate us into helping the children of God, our people, build their Tower of Babylon against us. Tower of Babel. Come on. So that's that wine of fornication. It's that same ideology that was at what? The Tower of Babel. Read.
Verse 3. So he carried me away in the spirit into the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Now, when you look at the scarlet-colored beast, scarlet is what, brothers and sisters? Scarlet is red. The first came out red all over like a hairy garment. And they called his name Esau. See? A scarlet-colored beast. My Mitri's white. This guy isn't white, okay? A scarlet-colored beast that would bring a satanic ideology directly from the pits of hell, delivered to him through Mount Seir from his father, the devil. Come on.
Verse number 3. So he carried me away in the spirit of the wilderness, and I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
Having 7 heads and 10 horns. Now the 7 heads represents the 7 mountains. Rome was made out of 7 mountains. And the 10 horns are the European countries that would make up the Roman Empire outside of Italy, Spain, Great Britain, Switzerland, Denmark, all of those European countries that are under the EU today, Russia, right? See? And they would all work in tandem together against us by making you believe that they were enemies politically. A lot of us still think that America and Russia has an issue. No, that's just like you believe that the Republicans and the Democrats has issues when it's the same God and the same plan against us at the helm of either side. See? So, no, Russia don't have no problem with America. The only thing, Russia is getting their commands from Rome. So is every other Western country. This is the head of all the world. Read.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
Filthiness of her fornication. So how can we follow or believe their religions? She's the mother of harlots, which means every Christian church in the Western world and other churches that have come out of her are one of the harlots. That's from the mother. So we must do what? We must throw out everything we've learned from the Christian church. Everything Esau taught us. And learn again under Christ, which is the word of the Almighty. And under the doctrines and principles that was established through him. Okay? What is Christianity today? You know what it is? It's politics through religion. It's really a form of control over the masses. And see, in Christ says, you shall know the truth, and the truth shall make you free. If I know that nothing but blasphemy and lies, and the Bible identify them as the destroyers of Jerusalem, how can I trust them to deliver what? The true ministry of Christ to me. Hence the reason I took so much time the other night, even though I was a little tired Wednesday, and broke down for that sister the true understanding of the dietary law. Because this woman was in church all of her life and never knew that Christ is against us eating pigs. That's how evil and perverse the Christian doctrines are. That they would teach our people it's okay to pray over an abomination and God will accept it. And yet our people are suffering from high blood pressure, dying and all that. And the devil is sitting back saying, yeah, let them justify evil and wickedness and have them die from it. Right? Come on.
Verse number 5.
Yeah.
And upon her forehead was a name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and abominations of the earth. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
I saw her drunken with what?
And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints.
They are responsible for killing the saints. Even the crucifix was a Roman capital punishment. These are the people who was arresting the disciples, killing the disciples. sending out mercenaries when we were in Africa and all these other areas. When we came to the Americas, killing the North American Indians, killing the Baliqua Taino Indians. This is their true initiative, to come against the saints knowing that their time is short. We are the saints of God, not them. We're the saints. Read.
Verse number 7. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? In fact, verse 6. And I saw the woman drunken with the blood of the saints, and with the blood of the martyrs of Yeshua. And when I saw her, I wondered with great admiration. And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee of the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, with which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
He says, don't marvel, John. I'm going to break down the mystery for you. This is what your people are going to need to see at the very end. When they're living under their systems, they'll have to be able to identify Satan's agent that has always been used against them. I'll give you the mystery of the empire that have always destroyed your people. John, brethren, sisters, it's our brother. It's our brother at the helm. Scorned because our God gave the promise to Jacob. Satan is scorned because for his error in heaven, he was hurled to this realm. And it was just inevitable that they would meet one another and execute a plan that was destroyed by our God when Nimrod tried the same thing. So here it is. The angel is about to show John. Christ is breaking this down to John so that John can understand, who is this mystery? Who is this? Okay. Now I go into the history of Esau, and I've tracked Esau all around the earth, and his biggest weapon within all of the earth is to operate in plain sight without being recognized prophetically. That's his greatest weapon. The invisible man. And this is why in the academy I go into in depth with the history to prove who's Edom. I don't have to argue back and forth and wonder, is it Europe? Is it Arabs? I'm out of that argument. I'm let anybody who don't know, go ahead about what you think. But I know this scarlet colored beast is Esau. And I know exactly how he got into every country he eventually became ruler over. And I can give you the dates on it too, if you would like. Who's Edom in the Hebrew and Bible Academy? It's all there. Okay. Finish reading.
Verse number 7.
Yeah.
And the angel said unto me, Wherefore didst thou marvel? I will tell thee of the mystery of the woman and of the beast that carrieth her, which hath the 7 heads and 10 horns.
Come on.
And the beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit and go into perdition.
The beast that was and is not, but yet is. And eventually it will go into perdition. There's a judgment coming for it. So it's a beast that was. Read that last piece so I can get it exactly how you have it, Elder Lawyer.
Yes, sir. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit.
And shall ascend out of the bottomless pit. Right? So it's talking about a spirit, right? But this spirit would give the mind to set up empires like it did during the Tower of Babel. Listen clearly. Because eventually he will use these same people to bring forth a mark of the beast. A mark. Now, we know it will go into perdition and will ascend out of the bottomless pit because it's prophesied that when Christ comes back in Revelations 20, there'll be a 1,000-year reign where Satan is bound before that, and eventually he'll be loosed for a season before the judgment. Now, how often do we see pastors breaking down the book of Revelation? Why can't they? Because they cannot identify in Revelation the woman who brought forth the man-child. They teach a false exegesis in the Christian churches that the woman that brought forth the man-child is the church. Without identifying a specific people who were attacked strictly based off of genealogy or bloodline connected to the children of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. That's why they can't break down the book of Revelation. They don't teach the narrative of who the people are. This is Esau empire coming against the children of Jacob, like it happened in 70 AD. When you see it through that narrative like it was intended, everything begins to what? Clear up. It begins to clear up because now you can identify the serpent or the people who came against the saints. Who was that historically? The Roman Empire. See? And these are the people who continue with the initiatives that end up in our neighborhoods destroying us. Same thing. Finish reading, Elder Lawyer.
Verse number 8. The beast that thou sawest was and is not, and shall ascend out of the bottomless pit, and go into perdition, and they that dwell on the earth shall wonder, whose names were not written in the book of life from the foundation of the world, when they behold the beast that was and is,
that was
and is not,
and is not,
and yet is.
and yet is. It was because it had introduced itself at the Tower of Babel. It was. It's the same religion from the Tower of Babel, worshiping that beast. Was and is not because no one can recognize it, but yet is. It's the same religion from ancient Babylon that Esau would pick up under the Roman Empire. And it will be the same religion taking over the waters on that scarlet-colored beast to bring all people back to the tower to help Satan get out of earth. It would become NASA. NASA is not just a scientific apparatus. It's an what? Religious one. NASA, DARPA, all of this links directly to Digital Angel, like I was teaching in 2005, 2006, up until the time where YouTube came on the scene and I started breaking down on the streets the path to the mark. So what are they doing? The beasts need to prep the bodies of those who've always believed in him with nanotechnology so that now they will do what? Serve him openly. Serve him openly under the control of the technology that was made